Professor Kerezy here, and on the advice of our online learning and technology folks, thought it might be a good idea for me to produce a small introductory video for you. Kind of explains how I use Blackboard. And again, by way of explanation, as you can probably tell by the color of my hair, I'm not exactly young. I taught my first online class in 2005, quite a ways back, and the technology has changed and improved quite a bit since then. However, I use about 5 or 6 basic things in Blackboard, and this video with some screenshots added to it is going to explain that to you and should go a long way toward making it really clear how to use Blackboard if you're a student in one of my classes. So take a look, and then at the end of the video you have all of my contact information. First, we start with Start. Very top of all Blackboards is something called Start Here. And I put my syllabus in Start Here, and I also put a week-by-week explanation of the syllabus so you can see 1 week at a time in every semester what the main tasks are for that week and if there are any deadlines, when those deadlines are due. So it's an easy way to keep tabs. I don't always activate the calendars. I've discovered that there are benefits and detriments to doing that depending on the class. But the Start Here is an extremely reliable indicator of what I'm trying to accomplish in terms of objectives for each class. Slightly underneath there, you're going to see some interesting, we call them radios or drop-downs. One's called Lessons, and that has basically quizzes or reading information or anything that has to do with taking a test you'll find in Lessons pulled down in my classes. You also will see something called Course Documents, and in general that's for classes where papers are due. You'll see an explanation, and if you click through what there's a paper due, you can actually see the rubric. Good idea to know what you're going to be judged for before you write your paper. So that's all there for you as well. You'll also see something called a discussion board. And again, I use this in many but not all of my classes. It basically replicates an online discussion in lieu of the in-class discussion. So it might be some questions that are thrown out. Or in my film class, I will ask students to give an example of technique. For example, we talk about long takes in one of the chapters in cinematography, and I ask students to find an example of a long take and to put a video up to share with their classmates so they can demonstrate some understanding of it. There's something called Tools in all of my Blackboard systems, and that's important because usually right next to Tools you see words like Course Messages or Messages There. This is the main, the primary, the greatly preferred way for you to communicate with me is just click on Tools, Course Messages, and send me a message. I look at those every day, Monday through Friday, throughout every academic semester, sometimes more than once a day. And in general, I respond to a message there within 24 hours. So I try to get back to my students as promptly as possible. And then finally, you're going to see information from me. Usually every week I do a beginning of the week communication that just kind of reviews what's due for the week. And then at the end of the week I might just do a reminder. And I do all of these through the announcement system that is also a pull down in Blackboard. So if you don't want to keep track of all the emails, you just know that if you got a bulk email from Professor Kerezy, there'll be a copy of it for you sitting in the announcements. So you can go back and refer to that as well. So I hope this gives you a good, clear explanation of how I use Blackboard. My contact information is at the end of here, and it's also in my syllabus. It's also in the Blackboard content management system itself and other places. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to connect with me. I'd rather be clear and perfect upfront about how Blackboard works and how you are expected to work within that system than for you to run into snafus or problems later on in the semester. It's great to have you in my class. Looking forward to helping you learn a lot in the weeks ahead.